What's going on, guys? Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, what's going on in the United States, Washington, D.C., your daily news source for money, investing, and the $3.5 trillion stimulus package, which will be the largest stimulus package yet to date. We have some major news on an SSI Social Security increase that President Biden endorses for this next stimulus package. I'm going to give you guys the latest information on this breaking news source, what this means, and what this means for Social Security raises and increases going forward. Yeah, major news here to be included possibly in this next $3.5 trillion stimulus package. Yeah, so some major news on Social Security and SSI Social Security increases. I'm going to explain to you guys what this means, what President Biden endorses here, what this means going forward for more Social Security increases, as well as what President Biden says about the rest of the $3.5 trillion stimulus package, and including Senator Joe Manchin and the $3.5 trillion stimulus package. So we got a lot to cover here today. This is one of those videos you want to watch all the way to the end because we got a lot of different details to cover with Social Security raises and the massive stimulus package coming up. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. I will keep you up to date with daily news and what is going on with the next stimulus package. Okay, President Biden has backed a new SSI, Supplemental Security Income raise, to be included in this next stimulus package. I'm going to show you guys the details here on the screen, and I'm going to talk about what this means for raises to all of Social Security here going forward. Check this out. A proposal in the emerging Democratic spending bill, the $3.5 trillion next stimulus package, that almost nobody is talking about could lift millions of Americans, the neediest people, out of poverty, according to a new report. This proposal would bolster the Supplemental Security Income Program, or SSI, which provides direct financial support to people who have disabilities or are elderly and who have minimal assets and income. And get this, President Joe Biden has endorsed this proposal. That's correct. President Biden has endorsed this proposal to raise SSI Social Security, or SSI, the SSI program. I'll talk about what this means for all Social Security here in a minute. And said he wants it to be part of the Human Infrastructure Bill, aka the $3.5 trillion stimulus package bill, that the Democrats hope to pass this fall, aka as soon as possible. On Monday, the Urban Institute released a report suggesting that fully funding the initiative could reduce the number of Americans living in poverty by as many as 3.3 million people. The cost would be substantial, more than $500 billion in new government spending over 10 years, which is about $50 billion a year, which is, in the scheme of things, and the cost of this entire program is really not that much. 3.5 trillion, $50 billion a year is really a drop in the bucket in the size of this program, according to estimates. But it has several component pieces, each of which would have a substantial impact. Rebecca Valles, a senior fellow at the Century Foundation, said the findings prove that the proposal represents a once-in-a-generation opportunity to update SSI. Quote, enacting President Biden's SSI commitments would go a long way towards fulfilling his pledge that seniors and disabled people should never have to live in poverty in America. SSI is a less well-known and frequently confused with SSDI, which stands for Social Security Disability Insurance, and provides financial support to people with disabilities and who have paid into the system by working. SSI, by contrast, is available to anybody who meets the criteria for age or disability, along with low income and assets. SSI is vital and indispensable to roughly 7.8 million Americans who currently receive the program's monthly checks. but Congress has done little to update the program since it became law in 1972, almost 50 years ago. Former President Richard Nixon, who signed the law creating SSI, said its enactment meant the nation aged, blind, and disabled people would no longer have to subsist on below poverty level income. But today, monthly benefit checks would max out on $794, which is below the federal poverty level. In addition, just $2,000 in savings can make an individual ineligible for benefits because the program's asset limits hasn't changed since 1989. The reforms under discussion would raise the benefits up to the full poverty level and increase the asset limits, as well as change the formula so those follow inflation more closely in the future. It would also eliminate a marriage penalty that would effectively make many couples choose between keeping their benefits and getting married. Note that the federal poverty level for one person is $12,880, which, if we take out a calculator and we divide that by 12 months, we come out to a level or a monthly number of $1,073 per month. This is going to become important for all Social Security here in just a moment because we have a proposal to raise all of Social Security benefits to this exact level as well, and another proposal to raise Social Security to 125% of this level, which would be 1.25 $1,341 per month. We have another proposal to raise Social Security to a minimum level of $1,341 per level. Now, note that President Biden, if we go back to this article, President Biden has endorsed this proposal and said he wants it to be part of the Human Infrastructure Bill that Democrats want to pass as soon as possible for SSI. He wants to increase SSI benefits for millions of Americans from $794 per month to $1,073 per month, which is an increase of $279 per month. Yeah, this probably will lead to in the future raises for additional Social Security beneficiaries. We have several different proposals to raise all of Social Security as well. So just to finish on this proposal for SSI increases, it would increase the SSI benefit for unmarried people to 100% of the federal poverty level, or $1,073 in 2021. This would also adjust for inflation. There is also another proposal to increase all Social Security beneficiaries to this level as well, would be the minimum level for Social Security. There might be a qualifications. You might have to have a certain amount of years worked. We don't know that yet, but there is an exact proposal to increase Social Security beneficiaries to the minimum level would be this exact amount as well, $1,073 for everybody on Social Security as well. And again, President Biden just backed this for SSI. Okay, this is where it gets important because as President Biden starts to back these Social Security or SSI increases, we could see these come as well in more stimulus packages. Okay, and increase the SSI benefits for married couples and eliminate the marriage penalty to $1,073 per person. So there'd be no more marriage penalty. So two people would get $1,073 each, or $2,146 per person. Now you can see here on the campaign trail, President Biden promised to increase Social Security, all of Social Security, guaranteeing that the minimum benefit given would be equal to at least 125% of the federal poverty level. This is 125%, not 100%. This is where the calculator would come into $1,341. Okay, that would not be the 1,073, but $1,341. Okay, and again, Social Security, a new report came out that they would run out of Social Security money in, what was it, like 12 or 13 years. But they would pay for this by raising taxes on wealthy individuals. We'll see that here in a second. Okay. Biden's proposal also included a 20% raise for widows, and widowers, and a 5% increase for Americans who have been receiving the payments for 20 years or longer. Sounds pretty awesome, right? To cover the cost of these increases, because again, they have to pay for this, they have to change the trajectory of Social Security so it doesn't run out of money, or bail it out with some stimulus packages, pump a couple $1 trillion into the program, or give the money back, right? They can simply just give the money back that Congress borrowed from Social Security many, many years ago. Simply give the money back. Or I think honestly, if Social Security ever does run really, really low on money, they'll simply pass a stimulus package or two for trillions of dollars and put some money back in the program, and that would dramatically change the trajectory. But they'll probably do several changes like they're talking about here next. So as you can see here, to cover the cost of these increases, which could happen here, honestly, and help plug the gap, Biden proposes to increase the ceiling for Social Security payroll taxes. So normally, right now, if you make over $142,800, which is its current level, you stop paying Social Security payroll taxes because that's the maximum amount that you can pay into Social Security. You can't pay anything more than that. So what the current proposal from President Biden would be is that after you after you make more than $400,000 of income, you would start paying into Social Security taxes again. You wouldn't get any benefit from it. You would basically, it would be a tax that you would pay after $400,000 of Social Security payroll tax, and it would just help cover the cost of everybody else's Social Security. So it would, again, the person paying into the tax would not get any Social Security benefit, but everybody else would benefit on it. Okay. So let me go back here. To cover the cost of these increases and help plug the gap, Biden promised to increase the ceiling for Social Security payroll taxes from $142,800, its current level, to $400,000. This will likely be opposed by Republicans on Capitol Hill, who tend towards fiscal conservatism and would object to further tax increases. I'm not sure why Republicans would object to helping people get Social Security raises, but that's what this particular article says. But remember, the Democrats have full control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and they can include this in one of the next stimulus packages because this would affect the budget. So because this would affect the budget, they could pass this in one of the reconciliation packages, and they could do this without any Republican votes. So they have about a year to do this. Remember, on October 1st, they get a whole nother set of reconciliation cards. And remember, they do plan to, apparently, based on this new information that we just got, President Biden has backed this new SSI raise. And this could lead to possibly a broader, entire Social Security raise as well. There is one more Social Security proposal that I almost forgot to mention that I should mention because there's a proposal by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Elizabeth Warren, and Ron Wyden, and has a lot of support from a lot of Democrats. They have unveiled a plan to increase Social Security benefits by a flat $200 per month for all Social Security beneficiaries. This is different because this would not affect the floor necessarily of Social Security. So it wouldn't necessarily raise the minimum benefits to 1,073 or 1,341 for Social Securities. This would just be a flat raise of $200 per month for all Social Security beneficiaries. So whatever your Social Security amount is now, it would just raise it by $200 per month. So some of the other benefits like this one might be better for some people, that might raise it to 125% of the federal poverty level. Some ones like this one might be better for other people of $200 per month. Which one they would go with ultimately, well, we don't know the details of that. Either one would probably be really good because raising Social Security benefits at all would be a really good thing for Americans. Now, remember that the Democrats can pass these next stimulus packages and this SSI raise or subsequent Social Security raises. Remember, the third stimulus check package was passed without a single Republican vote. Not a single Republican voted yes on it. And this next $3.5 trillion stimulus package is going to be passed without a single Republican vote as well. All the Democrats need to do is get all the Democrats to agree on it. And that kind of brings us to where this fourth stimulus package currently is right now. By the way, let me know down below in the comments, would you rather see raising Social Security benefits to $1,341 per month as a minimum? Or would you rather see a $200 per month raise across the board? So would you rather have a $200 per month raise, Social Security, whatever your benefits are, raising them by $200 per month? Or would you rather see the minimum benefits raised to $1,341? Because the different plans would affect people differently. You can comment down below and let me know which one you'd rather see. Personally, either one would probably be a really good thing for America, but they would have to raise taxes, again, probably on the wealthy, people making over $400,000 or people making over $143,000, depending on how they want to do it, how they want to raise Social Security taxes. And they have to change the trajectory or pass some stimulus packages in the future or just give the money back to Social Security, of which the government borrowed or plundered from the Social Security fund in the past. Just give the damn money back to Social Security that they kind of plundered from in the past. President Biden predicts he can work something out with Senator Joe Manchin regarding the $3.5 trillion stimulus package. Of course, we know Senator Joe Manchin seems to think that he's more powerful than the president. Senator Joe Manchin is the thorn in the side of the Democrats right now, and seems to think that he's not sure what he wants to do. Remember, the Democrats right now, in some ways, Joe Manchin actually could be more powerful than the president in some ways, because if Joe Manchin decides that he wants to vote no on this next stimulus package, he could single-handedly hold up the entire stimulus package. Social Security raises, SSI raises, a fourth stimulus check, the child tax credit extension, adult tax credits that could be in this next package, anything that could be in this next stimulus package. A single senator could hold it all up if he decides to pause on it, delay on it, or vote no on it, because they need every single senator to vote yes on this next package. But President Biden says that he can work something out with Senator Joe Manchin. Check this out. President Biden yesterday on Tuesday expressed confidence with Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat from West Virginia, that he will get on board with the Democrats' plan for a multi-trillion-dollar reconciliation bill after the centrist senator called for lawmakers to hit pause on the package. Quote, Joe Manchin at the end has always been there. He's always been with me, President Biden said. I think we can work something out. I look forward to speaking with him, President Biden told reporters after returning from touring some storm damage in New Jersey and New York. When asked about timing of the reconciliation bill moving forward, given the administration's new push for supplemental funding for Afghan refugees and storm recovery, Biden said he's comfortable proceeding the way we're proceeding so far. Manchin, during remarks last week at West Virginia's Chamber of Commerce event, pointed to concerns about runaway inflation. And I'll tell you why I don't really agree with him there. The Delta variant and the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan to float, slowing down the Democrats' plan for the $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill that contained Biden's priority on healthcare, childcare, and climate change, the next stimulus package. But the thing is, as we've seen, two different White House senior advisors say in interviews over the last 48 hours, as we've shared here on the channel, we showed both of their the White House senior advisors interviews, and we actually had Nancy Pelosi say that this next $3.5 trillion stimulus package and the infrastructure package are fully paid for or almost paid for. When all is said and done, it might not be 100% paid for, might be 90% paid for, both the infrastructure package and the stimulus package, which is very important because the last three stimulus check packages, two under former President Donald Trump, and the third stimulus check package under Biden, were not paid for. They just went on the national deficit. These next two packages, the stimulus package and the infrastructure package, are going to be paid for by raising taxes on the wealthy, raising taxes on corporation, government savings by forcing pharmaceutical companies to sell prescriptions to the U.S. government and to Americans for same prices that they sell them to other countries for. That's going to save the government hundreds of billions of dollars. They're going to use that savings to pay for the package, creative different things like that. So the packages are going to be paid for. They're going to be paid for. So it's not like they're going to shove $3.5 trillion onto the national deficit. If that was the case, Joe Manchin's argument would make sense. But that's not going to be the case. They're going to tax wealthy individuals. They're going to take that money. They're going to apply it to the package. They're going to tax corporations. Remember, corporations just a few years ago under former President Donald Trump, the corporate tax rate was 35%. Okay. And now it's 21%. So the corporate tax rate used to be 35%. It got lowered all the way down to 21%. Now they just want to raise it back to 28. So if you just look a few years ago, back in 2017, right before the 2017 Trump tax cuts, it was 35%. Now they just want to raise it up to 28%. So even if we look back a few years ago, the corporate tax rate was 35%. Even if they get their way and they raise it up to 28%, corporations still have a lower tax rate than they had 4 or 5 years ago. So at the end of the day, corporations still have it better than they had 5 years ago. So, and again, you could argue either point. I mean, there's a whole bunch of ways you can argue this, but this next package will be paid for. Also, I want to say regarding Social Security raises and stuff, whether or not we see a huge, massive Social Security raise in this package, Social Security raise for everybody, whether it makes it into this package or in the next package, there will be more packages after this. Remember that they get more reconciliation cards on October 1st, and there will be maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 more packages over the course of the next 12 months until the next midterm when the Senate and the House go up for re-election in November of 2022. I think they'll probably do a big, massive Social Security raise before the next House and Senate re-election. So whether or not the SSI or Social Security or anything makes it into this package, we'll have to see. But I do think that they'll probably try to fit all that stuff in there as soon as possible. So whether or not that makes it into this package or not, whether you're on SSI, you do want to kind of secretly be rooting for that, because once SSI happens, that's kind of the doorway into seeing that happen for the rest of Social Security, if that kind of makes sense. So once it happens for SSI is kind of the beginner step to seeing it happen for the rest of Social Security. Just like student loan forgiveness, I always tell people on this channel that student loan debt forgiveness is kind of the doorway to other types of debt forgiveness. So even if you don't have student loan debt forgiveness, you want to see student loan debt forgiveness. You want to secretly be rooting for it. Even if it doesn't affect you, you want to even. I always see people. I see people kind of complain about the child tax credits, even if they don't have children. You actually want to see that happen, because what happens is, and they're doing this right now in the next package, the child tax credits. What happens is, and you see Democrats talk about this, they say, okay, we've helped out children. Now what about everybody else? And all of a sudden now there's an adult tax credit they're talking about in this next package. See how that works? Same thing happened is Social Security. They do it for SSI, then they go, now let's do the rest for the rest of Social Security. Same thing with student loan debt forgiveness. They do student loan debt forgiveness, and then they go, okay, we did student loan debt forgiveness. Now let's do debt forgiveness for everybody else that doesn't have student loan debt forgiveness. So even when these things don't affect you, you kind of want to secretly be rooting for these things. And you kind of want to be always kind of like cheering for our extended family here. Because even if, say, you don't have student loan debt, you always want to kind of feel good. You always want to be rooting on for your fellow Americans, your fellow extended family here. I don't have student loan debt, but I feel good for people when they do get their student loan debt forgiven because, hey, one, it's our extended Americans, it's our extended family. I feel good for people to get that. Number two is it leads to other types of debt forgiveness down the road. Same thing with SSI. SSI gets an increase. All of a sudden, you see Social Security, more Social Security increases down the road. See how that works? Same thing with student loan debt forgiveness. Same things with child tax credits. We have the child tax credits, and then all of a sudden, Democrats are talking about what about other types of tax credits for people that don't have children? See how that works? Yeah, that's why I always say don't complain when it's always not just necessarily one group of people because it always seems to work out that like when it's one group of people getting it, all of a sudden right down the pipeline is they're always talking about the people that didn't get it, they're working on the next group. It's always funny how that works out. So you want the SSI increase to happen as soon as possible because sure enough, the next thing they'll be working on is more Social Security increases right down the pipeline. So yeah, I'll keep you up to date. Let me know your thoughts about these President Biden backing the Social Security SSI increase. I think there'll be a lot more down the pipeline. I personally think it's really good news. So make sure to subscribe down below. I'll keep you up to date. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video has a major announcement by the World Health Organization that just came out yesterday as well. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video. You in the next video. You in the next video. You